What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys will help us get there. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about The Boys, why Ryan was better off with Homelander. I thought this was a really interesting Screen Rant article. It really details a lot of stuff that Lance and I, my co-host here on Rants or Us, have talked about numerous times and debated. But anyone that's read the comics or anyone that's just even seen the show know exactly what type of person Billy Butcher is. In a lot of ways, he's not that much different from Homelander. I would even go so far as to say maybe he's even a little worse than Homelander. But I feel like this Screen Rant article does touches on some really important facts. I feel like it could go a step further on explaining exactly why he would be better with Homelander. So I just want to touch on some of my points of what I think on it and why I believe Ryan would actually be better with Homelander instead of Billy Butcher. All right, the first point is Homelander actually tried to be a father to Ryan. He went to the extent of trying to be there for him, to teach him lessons. Even though you could say those were misguided lessons, those were lessons that he was teaching his son to look at human beings as inferior creatures, to look at himself as a god. He was still teaching him something. He was going to the trouble of teaching him, trying to be there for him, to teach him life lessons. Something that was severely lacking in his current situation. At least from a father figure's perspective. Now, when Billy Butcher entered the picture, what's the first thing Billy Butcher wanted to do? He wanted to take Becca, separate her from her son, and allow Ryan to be experimented on alone. Basically, he was willing for Ryan to turn into the next Homelander and go through, be tortured and who knows what happened to him, just so that he could get his wife back. Without him. Another thing is about Billy Butcher is Billy Butcher makes it very clear he could never accept Ryan as his child. He just couldn't. He could not adopt Ryan. He could not be there for Ryan. Even though he loves Becca more than anything in this world, he could still not accept Ryan into the fold. Ryan is part soup. That's very problematic to Billy Butcher, because Billy Butcher is very prejudiced towards soups. He looks at them as being the worst of the worst, that there's no good that could ever come out of any of them. He just sees them through a really dark lens. He sees them through this idea of there's no such thing as a good soup. He's made that very clear to Huey and the rest of the boys. That's how he feels. And he even kind of made it pretty clear to Becca. That's the reason why Becca was so hesitant in going with him, is because she really thought that he was basically willing to abandon her son, and that troubled her. Even though she loves him, that still troubled her to the point where she wasn't willing to go with him. Another thing is about Homelander. Why Ryan is better off with Homelander. Ryan could curve some of the worst traits of Homelander. Ryan's humanity, being raised by Becca, could somehow change Homelander's view of the world around him. You could say maybe it could work the other way around too, that Homelander could just make him into another monster like him. That very well is the case. But in that situation, I feel like Homelander needs Ryan more than Ryan needs Homelander. And by that I mean Homelander is craving that family. He's wanting it. He's wanting that affection that comes with having people that love him, truly love him. So he would do anything to live up to the standard of protecting, of being there for his son, and of looking like the superhero that everyone believes that he is. In at least Ryan's eyes, I think it could curve some of the worst traits of Homelander. Granted, it could go the other way, but I feel like Ryan at this point, even though he's lost his mom, still doesn't need Homelander. He doesn't even really need Billy Butcher. I feel like as of right now, the only person that was really willing to take him in was Homelander. And Billy Butcher is just the wrong person for that job. Billy Butcher is, he just doesn't have that caring and loving disposition that Ryan needs. We've seen Billy Butcher's father. We know that Billy Butcher isn't that much different than his father. We know that Billy Butcher would look at Ryan always as something that should be disposed of, that shouldn't exist. So that alone, having if let's say Ryan went with Billy Butcher, which he did, I could see how that can maybe even bring out the worst in Homelander, because Homelander looks at human beings as inferior creatures, and knowing that one is raising his god's son might be the one thing that sets him off. So I could see how that could be very scary for upcoming seasons of The Boys. I mean, just depending upon how Ryan grows up. But, you could also make the argument that Ryan could be the one thing that could offset Homelander, in the fear of Homelander wouldn't really want to harm his son, and would so therefore wouldn't challenge his son. So therefore maybe you could say, well, that could offset it too, and I could understand that. I just feel like overall the things that are done in the dark, which Homelander does a lot, I feel like would stop almost immediately. And even with Vought, I believe a lot of things would stop immediately if Ryan was in the picture. But as far as Ryan is concerned, there is so many things. I mean, look, how do I put it? There is so many ways that Ryan could turn out to be. And who would you want him to be with? A man that doesn't want him, who looks at him as beneath him, or a person that actually cares for him? Ryan will have everything he wants if he goes with Homelander. He will have nothing if he goes with Billy Butcher. That's just the case. Billy Butcher is always going to be driven by hate. He's just always going to be driven by hate. And he will teach anybody that is around him to be driven by hate. You can even see that with the way he is with the rest of the boys. I mean, he takes some really decent people and puts them in situations where that they have to go against their conscience in a lot of ways, thanks to him. He is not a good man. He is not a good man. Will not be a good role model. So the way I kind of look at it is, yes, Ryan, I do believe Ryan would be better off with Homelander, simply because at least with Homelander, he's got somebody that at least pretends to care about him. Homelander, I don't believe, would raise him in a house full of hate. I believe that Homelander would at least try to pretend to be caring, where I just feel like Billy Butcher is just Billy Butcher. He's gone, now that he's lost Becca, he has nobody. He has nobody there. He has no mission in life other than to destroy Soups. So the last thing you would want is for a Soup to be in his home. So overall, I would say yes. I actually agree with the article when it says that Homelander would be better off with Ryan. I just feel like there's season 3, we're going to see a really really dark path with with Billy Butcher, and I want to see if it affects Ryan. I want to see if it affects Ryan in the negative. I want to see if maybe they do a little bit of changing from the comic books and make Ryan basically the thing that takes on, or the person that takes on Homelander. And with the morals of Billy Butcher, and instead of Becca. Or hey, who knows? Maybe there's enough good inside of Ryan that maybe he can even influence Billy Butcher. But I would say if I had to pick, I would say Ryan can influence Homelander more than what he ever could do with Billy Butcher. I feel like Billy Butcher is already fallen into the abyss and there's no coming back from it. I feel like Homelander is still, as bad as he's been, is still kind of a blank slate and is craving some form of love and affection. And if he got that love and affection, who knows what type of person he would be. I'm not saying he would ever be a great. I still think he would be kind of homicidal in a lot of ways. But I think he would be a lot more stable than what Billy Butcher is. You know, Billy Butcher, he can hide through this cynical nature, this really depraved attitude of his, but he is a really, really dark human being. He's a man that I would not put past anything. He would, if he felt like he could nuke the world to get rid of Soups, he would take care of all of them, even if it meant the end of Ryan as well. I mean, I just feel like there's no level with Billy Butcher, where I feel like even with Homelander, and we saw that with Homelander in this, Homelander does care what other people think, and that holds down some of the worst side of him. So you add that with Ryan, and I feel like, yeah, you could really clamp down on some of the worst aspects of Homelander. But that's my take on it, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all think if Ryan would be better off with Homelander or Billy Butcher. Me personally, I say Homelander all day long with that. Huge Billy Butcher fan, but let's face it, Billy Butcher's got some problems, guys. He's got some serious problems. He don't need to be taking care of no kid. Let's just put it that way. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and y'all take care.